Switchman by Henry Leaker. Exterior empty playground, day. Swings sway in a cool breeze, parting a layer of low-hanging mist. Leaves collect on plastic swings. Exterior sidewalk, day. The ghost of a hopscotch etching fades on the pavement. Silence. Suddenly, a noise. There is a distant echo of many voices, children's voices. They speak as one. It gets louder. They are singing a nursery rhyme in unison.
Switchman, switchman, comes down the trees. Switchman, switchman, watches from the leaves. Switchman, switchman, never see his face. Switchman, switchman, never leaves a trace.
Interior principal's office, afternoon. Open on a cramped office in a small-town elementary school. An unassuming middle-aged man sits at a wooden desk. This is Principal McCabe. He is toying with a Polaroid photo. The picture shows a group of school children. There are X's over the faces of all the children, all except two, a small boy and a girl. McCabe turns over the picture. There is a note on the back. It reads, "He knows. He's coming. Melissa." McCabe places the photo down and looks across his desk. A 9-year-old boy with sad eyes sits across from him. This is Tony.
I want my picture back.
That's 2 strikes right there, Tony. Talking back and having contraband. We have the rules for a reason. Now, tell me what they are.
Tony speaks in a practiced monotone voice. He's said this many times.
We do not question his way. He is the decider. We do not question the elders. They have passed his trial. We forget the lost children. He has chosen them.
Just follow the rules. Focus on growing up. Not everyone can manage that, but those who do are blessed. This town, everyone is safe. Everyone can be trusted. He's taken the bad ones and left only the best.
It's not fair.
That's 3. You are questioning his way. His way is the price for all of our safety.
McCabe reaches into his desk and produces a small piece of paper with an X mark on it.
He's watching you, Tony. He knows you've been misbehaving. If you cooperate, you can save yourself. You can grow up. But if you continue asking questions, he will come for you.
Tony looks anxiously at the mark.
What's it going to be?
Exterior empty suburban street, late afternoon. Tony walks down an empty, leaf-strewn street. There is something on his shirt, a piece of paper. It is the mark with the X pinned to his shirt. He approaches a house, his house. He stares at the front door, apprehensive. Tap, tap, tap. Tony turns around to face a tree across the street. Wind moves through the leaves of the tree, but nothing is there. Tony looks into the leaves. He senses something there, watching him, but neither he nor we can see it. He runs inside. Interior house entrance, same. Tony walks into his home and hangs up his coat and backpack. A voice emanates from the hallway.
Tony?
Tony looks down the hallway towards the dining room. Interior house entrance, same. Tony walks into his home and hangs up his coat and backpack. We hear a tapping noise again, rhythmic. The tapping stops. A voice emanates from the dining room ahead.
Tony? Come in here, son.
Tony hesitates. He walks into the room, resigned. Interior dining room, same. Tony enters the room. Sitting at the head of the table is a benign-looking man with glasses, George, 31, his father. Tony pulls out a chair and sits next to him.
You want to tell me what happened today at school?
Tony is silent.
I heard you were talking back to your principal.
He said I couldn't talk about our friends. It's not right. Everyone acts like they just disappeared, but they didn't. They got taken.
He may come for you tonight.
Tony indicates the mark on his shirt.
We will.
George knows he cannot help him.
If he does, don't try to run. Just do exactly what he tells you. He may just warn you.
Did he warn any of the others?
Go to your bedroom. Don't worry about your chores.
Tony gets up, walks to the kitchen door, but turns back to ask,
Dad,
Yes?
you never did anything bad when you were a kid?
George hesitates.
I grew up, didn't I?
Exterior, tree line, dusk. Wind blows at the tops of trees as the sun finally sets and the sky turns black. Interior, front hallway, night. George goes to the front door and opens it. Wind blows in through the front door, bringing a few dead leaves with it. George climbs the stairs, leaving the front door open. Interior, Tony's bedroom, later that night. The house is still. Suddenly, there is a slight fluttering sound. Splat. Something has hit a wall in Tony's room. Tony stirs but does not open his eyes. Splat. The same noise. Something has struck the wall near his bed. Tony straightens up and looks around. There are pieces of paper stuck to the wall above his bed frame. They dance in a breeze that touches nothing else in the room. Some of them are frayed and torn. Some are yellowed and very old. But all of them have the same black X on them. Tony looks to the bedroom door. It is ajar. There is another piece of paper waiting for him in the hallway. He goes to it. Interior, house entrance, same. Tony looks out the open door. There is a trail of notes waiting for him, beckoning him. He follows them. Exterior, front yard, night. Tony follows the trail. It leads him to the large, spooky tree across the street. The moonlight cascades through the leaves and the wicked-looking branches. Tony looks at it. The papers lead to the base of the tree. Suddenly movement at the tree. The bark of the tree seems to peel away, revealing a figure. The figure steps into the moonlight. It wears a long robe with bits of fur and animal bones patched throughout. There is a strange mask where its face should be. It has the consistency of dry, rotted leaves. This is the switchman. Tony looks down and slightly away. The switchman moves toward Tony. He taps in front of him with a knotted wooden cane like a blind man. He stands before Tony. Switchman speaks. It is a low, ligneous sound that emerges, the sounds of twigs breaking, of branches in the wind.
You've been asking questions.
Yes.
You want to know what happened to the children? To your friends?
Yes.
If you want to see them, come with me.
The switchman turns and beckons with his cane. Tony looks back to his house. George is watching them from the window. He looks at Tony for a moment, then closes the blinds. Tony follows the switchman. Exterior neighborhood, night. The switchman leads him down the streets, tapping ahead of him with his staff. The tapping echoes down the street. Tony notices that there are lights on in the windows of the houses that they pass. There are figures in the windows, watching, letting it happen. Exterior, woodline, night. They reach the edge of a vast forest. Tony peers into the darkness. Tony sees shapes in the darkness, little hands and feet, eyes glowing in the branches.
There's something in the trees.
They're your friends, Tony. The ones who were chosen. The ones who were forgotten.
You're lying.
Don't you hear them?
The switchman's voice takes on an eerie, echoing tone. It is a cacophonous sound of many voices, speaking as one.
Listen to my voice. They live here with me forever. Don't you want to see them again?
Switchman enters the woodline. He looks back to Tony.
You're forgotten too now. You can't go back.
Tony walks after him. Exterior, path, night. Tony and the switchman walk through a narrow, beaten-down path. Beside them is high grass and brambles as far as they can see. The switchman guides Tony. Tony looks around. To his right and left, he sees the shades of the children moving silently through the brush.
Are you going to punish me?
Do you feel guilty, Tony?
I want to be good, like the principal says, like my dad wants, but it doesn't make sense. The others were just my friends. I can't just act like they never existed. It's not fair.
You're right.
Exterior woods, night. In the darkness, the dead children are at work. Cold, dead hands assess the branches in the trees. They judge the weight, the flexibility, the maturity of the branches. They are looking for the right one. Exterior path, continuous. Tony and the switchman continue to walk.
Why do you think I'm here?
To punish bad people?
To punish the bad children.
Exterior woods, night. The dead children have selected their branch. They set to work removing stray slivers, trimming the branch. Exterior clearing, night. Tony and the switchman enter a moonlit clearing. Tony looks around. The glade is empty save for a single stump in the center. The thing is old and ancient, surrounded by briars and tendrils. Placed on the stump, like an offering, is a freshly carved switch.
This is where I take them.
I'm ready. Do what you want.
I have no ones, but you do.
I want to know what happened to my friends. I want to know why you took them.
Then ask them.
From the shadows of the woods, silhouettes leap into the clearing. Just shapes, no faces, but dozens of glowing eyes, watching. We hear a low hum in the wind rising in the trees. It has the cadence of the switchman's song, only hummed by many voices. Tony walks to the trees. One of the figures walks forward. It is a girl with moonlight glowing eyes, the girl from the photo, Melissa.
I'm sorry for what happened, Melissa. It's my fault. I was asking questions. I shouldn't have got you involved. That was why he took you, isn't it?
You didn't send me here. He didn't choose me. They did.
Who?
The adults.
The dead children move in the gloom. They speak as one.
They obeyed the rules, but they cheated the system. They waited until they were grown up to misbehave. We have seen. It is why we were sent. It is why we were forgotten.
Come with me, Melissa. We'll leave.
Melissa stays at the edge of the trees. Camera shows the root of one of the trees is wrapped around her ankle, anchoring her. She speaks, but it is in the switchman's voice that emanates from her.
She cannot. None of them can.
Tony looks back to the switchman.
Why don't you stop them? Why don't you punish the adults? They tricked you.
Ah, they're too clever. I failed them. And they betrayed you. You cannot go back. But you're not meant to be here.
The switchman presents the new switch to Tony.
This was meant for you. But
Suddenly, Tony grabs the switch and strikes the switchman with all his might. The mask falls off and the switchman goes down to his knees. Tony walks to him.
I'm tired of following these rules. Yours, theirs, it's all the same.
The children in the woods begin to move into the glade, menacingly. The switchman extends his hand, staying them. The hand resembles a burned log, blackened and cracked.
if you destroy me, they go with me. They're part of me. Only the adults will be left. I cannot punish them. But someone has to.
Tony looks into the switchman's face. The audience never sees it. Tony picks up the mask and hands it to the switchman. The switchman accepts it and places it back on his face. The switchman rises, towering over Tony again. But Tony stands tall.
You want to.
Interior, Tony's bedroom, morning. George opens the door to Tony's room. He looks inside. There is no one there. There are no signs of the notes from earlier. He shuts the door. Interior, kitchen, day. George sits, eating breakfast in silence. Suddenly, he hears the door open. It does not close. There are footsteps. They come closer. Closer. George looks up to see Tony standing in the kitchen doorway. He is holding something behind him. Slowly, Tony pulls out a freshly carved switch. Cut to black.